All right, let's jump right into this explainer and uncover what is honestly the ultimate secret of the wealthy. Because the truth is, money isn't just numbers on a screen. It's an entirely psychological game of leverage and time. If you've ever felt like the financial system is this rigged puzzle you just can't quite figure out, well, you're absolutely in the right place. Today, we're going to break down the actual mechanics of money, how your brain reacts to it, and how the future of finance is literally changing the rules of the game. So, we have to start by asking a really crucial question. Why do incredibly smart people still lose money? It's wild, right? But the reality is, raw intelligence doesn't protect you from the hidden emotional traps that silently destroy your financial future. You can study the markets, memorize all the jargon, and read every strategy book ever written, but if you don't understand the biases and emotional impulses driving your decisions, you're just going to keep sabotaging yourself. Finance is just as much a study of human behavior as it is a study of math. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll cover the reality of money, financial markets and mechanics, the psychology of wealth, the power of leverage, and finally, decentralized finance explained. Section 1. The reality of money. Peeling back the curtain on currency. Okay, think about this for a second. A dollar bill has absolutely no more inherent legitimacy than a random stick you'd find in your backyard. Currency is simply a social construct. It's built entirely on shared belief and trust so we can trade value. The only reason that piece of paper buys you a coffee and the stick doesn't is because society collectively agrees it holds value. The government prints it, banks regulate it, and we all trade it. It's an illusion, sure, but it's a very useful one that makes organizing society so much easier. Now, you might think banks just sit on your cash like a dragon guarding its gold, but they don't. Through fractional reserve banking, they keep a tiny piece, usually around 10%, in the vault, and they lend the rest out to someone buying, say, a jet ski. When you deposit $1,000, it doesn't just sit there gathering dust. The bank takes roughly $900 and lends it right back out. You supply the money, a borrower provides the demand, and the bank acts as the matchmaker, pocketing the interest. They only keep a fraction in reserve, basically just betting that we won't all ask for our money back on the exact same day. And then, of course, we have to talk about inflation. It's the silent thief ensuring your $5 bill buys way fewer groceries today than it did 5 years ago. It doesn't happen overnight with a big dramatic crash. It's a slow, steady erosion. Whether it's driven by supply chain hiccups or just too much money chasing too few goods, inflation means keeping your cash stuffed under a mattress is essentially a guaranteed way to lose wealth over time. Plus, let's be honest, it's terrible for your back. Section 2. Financial Markets and Mechanics. Building your financial toolkit. All right, compound interest. This is without a doubt a financial cheat code. It allows your money to clone itself and grow exponentially over decades. Instead of trading your limited time for money, you're trading money for more money. When you earn interest on your initial deposit and then earn interest on that interest, it creates this massive snowball effect. This is the exact playbook Warren Buffett used to build his fortune, not just by chasing high returns, but by staying in the game and letting his money compound for over 80 years. Now, if you're investing in stocks, you'll hear these two terms constantly. Bull markets mean rising prices, and bear markets mean falling prices. They're actually named after how each animal attacks its prey. A bull thrusts its horns upward into the air, which represents a rising, optimistic market. A bear swipes its heavy paws downward, symbolizing a declining, pessimistic market. Understanding these cycles is absolutely crucial because it stops you from panic selling when the bear market inevitably rolls around. But hey, we can't forget about taxes. To actually walk away with a cool $1 million in the bank, realistically, you need to earn $2 million first. Whether it's income tax on your paycheck, sales tax at the register, or capital gains tax on the investments making money while you sleep, taxes are just the mandatory cost of a functioning civilization. Factoring them into your grand plan is the difference between achieving true financial freedom and getting a very nasty surprise from the government. Section 3. The Psychology of Wealth. The Mind Games of Money. We really need to contrast the loud illusion of looking rich, like spending crazy money on luxury items, with true wealth, which is the silent, unseen financial assets you haven't touched. The absolute fastest way to go broke is by trying to look rich. That fancy car, the exotic vacations, those are financial assets that have already been converted into stuff. True wealth is the money you didn't spend. It's that portfolio quietly compounding in the background, giving you options and peace of mind. There's this brilliant concept called the man in the car paradox, perfectly summed up by this idea. No one is as impressed with your stuff as you are. People don't admire the person driving the Ferrari, they just imagine themselves behind the wheel. When you buy expensive things just to get attention, it almost never works the way you think it will. Real respect and admiration come from humility and empathy, not from maxing out your credit card. 1 in 300 million. Those are the odds of winning a massive lottery. But despite that math, we constantly fall for appealing fictions because they just feel so good. We ignore the data in favor of a comforting narrative. We love clean stories. We hear about a regular guy winning a huge jackpot, and suddenly buying a ticket feels logical. We picture ourselves on a yacht and conveniently block out the millions of people who lost their money. And you know what? This same emotional trap applies to chasing hype-driven meme coins or shady stock tips. We want to believe what feels good. Section 4. The power of leverage. Working smarter, not harder. Think about a physical lever. It lets you lift a heavy boulder with barely any effort. Finance works the same way. Labor and capital are the old traditional forms of leverage. But today, code and media sit at the absolute top of the pyramid. You can write a piece of software or record a video once, and it works for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, reaching millions of people with zero marginal cost to reproduce it. This is exactly how modern fortunes are built. And the crazy part is, anyone with a laptop can start doing this today. Now, a classic example of leveraging capital is real estate. It's a simple formula. You use borrowed bank money to acquire an asset that appreciates over time. You don't need the full purchase price. You put down 20% and let the bank cover the rest. Then you rent it out and your tenants effectively pay down your loan for you every single month. Down the road, the property goes up in value and you sell it for a profit. It is a textbook method of using someone else's money to build your own net worth, assuming you manage the risks, of course. Section 5. Decentralized Finance Explained. The code-driven future of banking. The legacy system, or centralized finance, relies entirely on human-run authorities that can freeze your account at a moment's notice. Decentralized finance, or DeFi, completely flips the script by relying on open, unchangeable smart contracts written in code. In CeFi, you have to trust the bank and the government. They set the rules, charge the fees, and control your money. DeFi replaces the bank with a transparent piece of code on the blockchain. And because that code is immutable, no human can arbitrarily change the rules, limit what you do, or slap you with a surprise 15% foreign exchange fee. Think of this entire ecosystem as a completely new digital bank. You've got stablecoins giving you safety by pegging to the US dollar, borrowing and lending protocols that bypass credit scores entirely by using over-collateralization, decentralized exchanges or DEXs that let you trade assets directly from liquidity pools for absolute pennies. It even covers decentralized insurance and margin trading. It's a parallel financial system built completely on math with zero middlemen. But look, whether you're investing in stocks, leveraging real estate, or trading crypto, endless accumulation just to feed your ego shouldn't be the end goal. The danger of comparing yourself to others is that the finish line constantly moves. You get a nice house, suddenly your neighbor gets a nicer one. If you don't define what enough means to you early on, you'll eventually risk everything you have and need for things you don't even want or need. Author Morgan Housel really hit the nail on the head here. The absolute highest form of wealth is simply waking up and saying, I can do whatever I want today. The truest benefit of building a high net worth isn't buying a faster car. It's having the ultimate flexibility to walk away from a bad job, to comfortably weather an unexpected crisis, or just to spend a random Tuesday afternoon exactly how you choose. That freedom is what true wealth actually looks like. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want you to look at the two paths in front of you and ask yourself, what game are you actually playing with your time? Are you going to spend your life running on the exhausting treadmill of social comparison? Or are you going to master the mechanics of money, use leverage to your advantage, and play the quiet, steady game of true financial independence? The choice is entirely yours.